Hello, welcome back to another episode of Bitcoin, comics, and stock trading. Okay, today is a historic day, somewhat. December 16. I'm shooting this video. What time is it? It's roughly 10 a.m. in the morning. Historical day because for those that follow Bitcoin, it broke the record all-time high. It's kind of fun to see that, but ultimately it's not a big deal. Okay, for those that have been invested in Bitcoin over the past 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, I'm sure your goal, your aim is a lot higher. How high? Higher. That's all I can say. But for this video, I want to touch on something that if you are interested in Bitcoin and are still deciding, still learning, that's a good thing. But one of the things that you should put into your bag of things to learn is technical analysis. Okay, when it comes down to the stock market, okay, for those that follow the stock market, you have heard two terms that have been thrown around for decades: technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Two different paths of studying, analyzing a company, a stock, whether to buy, whether to sell, whether to invest for long term or short term. It's two different approach. Okay, I'll put a link below to a channel that I have referred to many times to other interest YouTubers that want to learn about trading stocks. The link is below. That give a very good rounded tutorial on technical analysis. I don't want to go too deep into the weeds, but I think if you are mildly interested in Bitcoins at all, I highly recommend that you have a solid understanding of technical analysis, because when it comes down to Bitcoins, comparing to say a stock like Apple stock or Amazon stock or any other stock, Bitcoin tend to behave closer to technical analysis than fundamental analysis. Okay, because Bitcoin does not have, let me back up a little bit. Fundamental analysis involve looking at a company, a stock, about earning, debt, cash flow, a lot of things that go into fundamental analysis that you can also research and read up. But when it comes down to Bitcoin, that's not part of Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin doesn't have those kind of element to make fundamental analysis have a whole lot of meanings. But technical analysis is a good way to measure sentiment, fear and greed. Okay, and that is a huge part of how many traders that trade Bitcoins heavily will rely on as far as signals for them to buy or sell something. I have said this many times on my channel. I am not a trader of Bitcoin. I am just buying small pieces here and there on a dip for the long run. I'm not a trader, so I don't follow the technical analysis very closely, but I do watch it from time to time when I want to put my orders in to buy. Okay, now since this video is about Bitcoins and stock and comic books, in comic books it's not as easy to apply technical analysis, but the one thing that is the same is that when you use technical analysis, whether it's for Bitcoins or stock, often you will hear professional talk about overbought. Something is too hot, overbought, when parabolic. Okay, does that mean that it's gonna crash soon? Not always. Okay, not always. And many people that understand technical analysis will agree that just because the signals are flashing overbought, it does not mean that a crash is coming soon. For sure, It is a signal for be careful, caution. Same thing with the comic market. Often you see a book get hot and it went into lunacy price above, right? And guess what? Does that mean that a crash is coming? No. Depending on how hot the market is, that crazy price can go even higher, right? So we have seen that. Okay, so when it comes down to technical analysis, it is a decent measure, a decent tool to use to measure greed and fear. Not the ultimate signal that this is a time to buy or this is a time to sell. If you follow Bitcoin long enough, you know it is a fairly volatile asset. Thus, it is good to have technical analysis in your bag of trick to go to see where it is at any given point. Should you want to trade or should you want to put more money into Bitcoin? You definitely don't want to put money into Bitcoin today. Yeah, it's nice that it broke the all-time high. Yay, but no FOMO here, okay? If you have not put money into Bitcoin, this is not the green light to go chase it and buy into it today. All right, so I'm sure those that follow technical analysis will tell you it is overheating. The chart is telling you it is overheating. It does not mean that when something is overheating, overbought, that it's gonna crash. But it is a signal for you to not chase, not jump in. At least for me, that's the signal that I'm reading. Okay, so by all means, do yourself solid and start to have an understanding of technical analysis. So when you watch other YouTubers, there's a ton of channel that talk about the daily technical of Bitcoin. If you don't have any clue about technical analysis and you're trying to watch those videos, it's going to be a whole lot of mumbo jumbo nonsense. Okay, so at the least educate yourself so that when you watch those videos, you have an idea and an understanding of what it is that those traders are talking about. You don't have to agree with them. It's up to you to analyze what they are saying using all the technical analysis tool that many of them are using, right? If you turn on to Bitcoin on YouTube, there are so many channels that talk about the daily movement, the moving average, the resistance, the support level, the long-term trend, the short-term trend, the bear flag, the bull flag. Yeah, all those terms, the more you understand what they are, the less confusing those videos will come across. And over time, you will learn to gravitate toward the channels that you find make sense for you. Okay, there are a lot of channels that talk a lot of nonsense, but there are also a lot of good channels out there that do good technical analysis and put good points on a daily basis on what's going on with Bitcoin for you to follow. You don't have to day trade Bitcoin to follow those channels to understand what is going on with Bitcoin. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.